Welcome back to Cayman Now, everyone. My guest, Catherine Tyson, sharing her passion, obviously, for families and children and those who helped her to learn in school. And like I say, those teachers, the old-time teachers, Miss Catherine, they come from a place of love. And
absolutely.
I think I would like to get back there some more. I'm not saying the teachers out there don't love as a broad brush statement, but I think some do just come in, they're on a work permit, and they make the salary and they go home.
Yeah.
Whereas the teachers in our day, at least it sounds like your experience was similar to mine, they really cared about you even after school, or they told your mama or your daddies,
That's right.
this one needs to shape up, or
Yeah.
they were a part of the whole society, not
Yeah.
just over here in school in that department.
Yeah, well, that's what I was telling the story before the break about my children going to the Adventist school, and I loved the fact that the teachers would come out and say something to me. My children hated it. They'd say, "Oh my goodness, Miss Mack," and I said, "Thank God for Miss Mack, because that means she loves you." And so now as adults they can say, "Boy, Mommy, that's true, she was always on my back." Yes, because that's what we're used to. And so even though it sounds a little unrealistic that a large school would have that type of relationship, we need to still get back there somehow. And I think one of the problems, one of the issues that I'm having is that, as you just said, our local people are not in these professions as they used to be. So we need to start promoting that more. We need to get more local teachers, more local social workers, more local nurses, right? Because these are people who actually know your family. They know you. They know who you are, and they actually care. And not to say that the others don't, but trust me, when I speak to, for instance, I speak to a Jamaican person, they love Jamaica. They want the best for Jamaica because that's their country. Exactly. And so that's all I'm saying, is that we need to really start looking at how can we get back there somehow, even with the growth and development, because it's going to happen, and great, that's good for it, but we also need to ensure that we're back to that basics and we're getting the best from our education system or whatever system we have in place.
Well, I liked what you said a little bit ago when you said you and I are going to go sit down. That's a nice way of saying we're getting old, but I got to... But we are getting older and older as a society. Even people who have been visitors, or I call them snowbirds, every winter, and they have a condo in 7 Mile Beach, even those folks, they need more health care,
right,
which is actually an exciting opportunity for those who work in the healthcare business.
Right.
But our seniors, how well cared for are they?
Seniors have such a really just great place in my heart, because I was raised by an old woman. She was 60-something years old when I was born. I remember my grandmother always having gray hair. So those were my friends, her friends, her sisters, and those were the people in the church that pulled me and helped, raise me with her, helping my mother. So I really believe that we have to have more respect. Right now, I think that we've lost some respect for them. And I don't even know if we're doing it on purpose. I think it's by default, because I'm really careful not to point my finger and say, "Wow, look what you did." I just think it's by default. So now it's time for us to pay attention. So what are we doing for our seniors? 1 month a year? Why not one thing a month? Why not have a place for them to be able to convene? Why don't we know who is all of our seniors in each constituency, especially now that we have a constituency like this, it's broken up. It's going to be easy for us to find our seniors, find our young people, find our families, and put things in place for them so that they're valued. So
I think we can reintegrate them as well, because there's too much. I think we've picked too much from the U.S. where the categories of age are separated.
That's right. That's right.
One of the most beautiful things I saw in Cuba was a 60-year-old guitar player playing with a 20-year-old guitar player, all in the same band.
That's right.
And so there's a country just to the north of us that does that.
Yeah.
And I think we should take a page.
We have to become that society, because a lot of societies do have reverence and respect for their older people. And we need to do that. We used to do it because our grandmothers used to help raise us. Nowadays, grandmothers are becoming a lot younger. What we need to do, though, is we need to weave our seniors into the fabric of our lives, not just the cliche, but there's a place for them. We need their knowledge. We need to thank them for what they've given us. We couldn't be where we are right now if it were not for them. So we do need to start looking at what can we do to ensure that they're valued and that this part of their life is being celebrated. Because that's what it is. We're all in different parts of our life. And so that part of our life should not be any less valuable than this part of our life. And so I think that you're right. We're taking almost like taking this lesson from the U.S. where it's all about youth. No, let's go back to where we were and let's learn from other societies.
But they miss the richness of life
exactly
when they do that.
Exactly.
Now, you're running for Georgetown South, as we've said, and some of that constituency has gorgeous water lines. I love to drive down that road in the morning if I have the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all worried about the environment right now. If you get elected, is that one of the issues that you care about?
No, absolutely. I think we need to preserve what we have for future generations. So I think there's a lot of things that we're missing that we could do. We're a society right now that's just concerned about right now, this moment, you know, how it all works right now. But we need to look forward and see, okay, when we do this, how does it affect something else down the road? So I think we are missing some opportunities. I think we could do a lot more in terms of recycling. I think we could do a lot more in terms of, you know, preserving what we have, utilizing some of our natural resources in order for us to not have to be dependent upon things that are not natural. I think we have a really rich opportunity that we're missing out on. So definitely, I'm interested in that.
Well, Ms. Tyson, tell me this. Why should we vote for you?
Well, let's see why. The fancy answer or the real answer, right?
I love the real stuff.
Yeah, the real stuff. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been a vulnerable person. I was raised by, you know, my mother had 3 of us by the time she was 19. She was a teenage mother. And it was a struggle in the 60s because that's when we were born. And just imagine, you know, coming from that and the bleak future that I may have had. I didn't meet my father until I was 3 years old. He had went to sea. Yes, so, you know, I was partially raised by my mother before I met my father and my grandmother. So I was, you know, my outlook was a little bleak. And for me to sit here today with the story that I have, having also gone into a vulnerable situation, raising 3 children by myself, you know, I'm just proud of where I sit today, and I can say that the future is always bright when you have elements around you
and
that
you
promote
have a light around you of positivity. And it's not that you haven't struggled, but I know that that is who Catherine is, and that's what you bring to the table.